Morning! I think it's time to fire it down a little bit. Oh, it's chilly, chilly, chilly today. How are we? Are we good? Is anybody here who's going to join me? Let me get rid of that. Hello, 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 hello. Anyone online? Because data is bad. Wi-Fi is bad. No service keeps dropping. Hello. Oh, is that Brenda and Claire? I thought it was going to be on my own for a minute. Oh, connection is pants today, isn't it? What is going on in Spain with the weather? So what, we on our 5th week lockdown now? Is it week 5 we're in? And we've literally had about, what, 7 nice days. Morning Claire, no signal is not good today. Morning Sue, morning Jan, morning Brenda. No, signal is not great. I mean, it seems okay from my end, the Wi-Fi seems. Morning Rebecca, morning Jane. But it's heavy clouds and it's raining and it, bleh. Anyway, we're do some yoga. Judith. So yeah, a couple of times, morning Frida, a couple of times we've had some unwelcome visitors to our live classes. Morning Ruth, leaving some unpleasant comments. So there's actually nothing I can do as I'm teaching. I don't want to be stopping and deleting comments and, you know, getting all out of flow, so I'm just ignoring them. I would advise you anyway, when you're practicing your yoga, swipe the comments off your screen. So I think you just need to swipe them, and then you won't see everyone's comments coming up because it can be distracting anyway, and they'll cover half of your picture. So once we start class, I recommend that you make sure that your comments, the comments are taken off your screen, so you're not distracted by other comments coming in and somebody's watching and someone's saying this and, you know, and anything like that that goes on. Hi Janet Turner, hi Arlene, hi Sarah Hoggins. Oh my gosh, all coming in today. So yeah, I would definitely make sure your screen is clear so you can only see me and you can't see any of the comments happening. I do delete them as soon as we finish our class, but because this is a public page, it's a business page, so it's got to be open to the public. You know, sometimes we attract unwanted visitors. Yeah, but they do get reported to the Facebook police. Morning, Mary. So today we are using the wall again. We did some wall practice in the first week or two. And we want to come back to that again particularly because I can't see you, so I can't see your alignment. Using a wall is really good to make sure that you're in the correct position, because I know when we come into any of our standing postures, particularly our triangles or warriors or extended side angle, which we're going to be doing today, often the alignment just goes all to pot and the bum gets pushed out and the chest falls forward and you think you're in the right position, but then little adjustments you realise you're not. But I'm not there to adjust you. Yeah, well, thank you Claire, that's so sweet, thank you. Yeah, the more rude comments rather than negative comments, Claire. So yeah, not play, just like a few little perverts dropping in now and again who like feet apparently. There you go. So yeah, so using a wall is a really good reminder of where your alignment should be. And even for me, when I come against a wall, just that, I just feel like ever so slight different, that little adjustment. So it is really good practice to come against a wall now and again. So if you've got space against a wall, please use it. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. But I want you to really imagine that you've got a wall behind you, because it's going to be so important to make sure that your alignment is in position. Morning, Ali. So we are going to start. and we're going to start standing. And most of our practice today, if not all of our practice, will be standing because we've got a wall. If we've got time, we'll come on the floor and we'll do some alignment practice on the floor. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start breathing because it's good to breathe. So we are going to start hands on the thighs, not against the wall just yet, so just bring yourself away from the wall so you've got space to move. We're going to inhale, lift those arms up away from the thighs, up to the sky. Exhale, bringing them back down to the legs. Inhaling, lifting up and away. Remember, swipe the comments off your screen if you're still seeing comments coming in. Just give yourself a clear screen. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, taking them back down. Inhaling to lift up. Exhaling back down. So let the breath lift your arms to the sky. Your exhale allows everything to soften and lower. Let's use the feet as you lift the arms, lift the heels off the floor. Exhale, let the heels come down, arms come down. Inhaling, lifting the heels. Exhaling, coming back down. So using those little muscles in the toes, the ankles. You might feel the calves, the thighs, the bum, the belly, all of those muscles working just to keep you stable. And bringing you up onto your toes. And lower those heels down. Keep the feet on the floor, arms in front. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. So just want to get some warmth in the shoulder. Morning, Sarah. A few breaths. Oh, did anybody join Sarah's class yesterday? If you did, 3 minutes of yesterday's class. You are classic, Sarah Pierce. I love it. Inhaling, open. Exhale, close. Inhaling. And bring those hands together. Interlock the fingers. Bring them to the heart. And reach up to the sky. Exhaling to the heart. Inhaling, reaching up. Feel your rib cage lift up away from your waist. Exhaling back down. Inhaling, lifting. And down. Let's flow. Hands together. Inhale, down, out, and up. Exhale to the floor. Bend those knees. Push the bum out. Halfway up. Shoulders back. Spine is long. All the way over, nose to toes. And all the way up. Belly in, arms high. So this is our first flow. So there's no force. Yeah, my back is tight, my hamstrings are tight first thing in the morning. Inhaling up, exhaling lower. So you just let the body open in its own time. I really feel this, the top of the hamstrings, halfway up, shoulders back, heart forward, all the way over. But there's no force. Inhaling all the way up. There's no strain. We're not pushing the body where it doesn't want to go. We're just letting gravity do the work. Inhaling up. Exhaling to the floor. Halfway up, shoulders back. All the way over, nose to toes. And all the way up, palms to the sky. Exhaling back to the heart. Inhaling out and up. Exhaling to the floor. Halfway up. Remember, keep the pelvic floor lifted all the way over. Push through those feet. Use the leg muscles to power you back up. Exhaling to the heart. We're going to do 2 more here. Inhale, down, out and up. Exhale to the floor. Halfway up, shoulders back. And all the way over. And all the way up, belly is in, palms to the sky. Exhaling back to the heart. Last one, inhaling. Exhaling to the floor. Halfway up. And over. and all the way to the top. Hopefully by the end of this your body feels a little bit more open than it does at the beginning. Hands down. Okay, we're going to come against the wall. So if you've got your wall, you're going to stand right up against it, backs of the heels to the wall, backs of the hips on the wall, shoulder blades against the wall. I know some of you are saying, my bum's getting in the way. Okay, so if you need to move a fraction forward with the heels, move a fraction forward. You're going to do standing posture or Tadasana mountain pose. If you haven't got a wall, remember, just imagine that you do have that wall behind you. So you've got a little space between the feet. My feet were a bit wide. Little space between the feet. And just feel the pressure on all four corners of your feet. So underneath the big toe, the ball of the big toe, the ball of the little toe, two sides of the heel. And imagine your feet trying to push the floor away, push down with your feet, trying to push the floor away. Really grounding. If anybody joined in my yin practice on Sunday night, we worked with the chakras. This is really good for your root chakra, so that grounding chakra, that one that helps you feel like stable in your life. So push the feet into the floor. Firm up the legs. So as you're pushing down into the floor, you want to sort of feel like your energy is being drawn up the legs. Like you're zipping up from the inner knees, up the thighs, thigh muscles contracting back towards the bones, pelvic floor lifting, belly is in. And then we're going to lengthen the spine. So imagine, in fact you can even do it, you can take hold of your rib cage and lift it away from your waist. And then keeping the rib cage high, release the hands, let the shoulders drop down away from the ears, and we're reaching down towards the floor. So here, you might feel, depends how big your calves are, you might feel the back of your heels, your calves against the wall, your bum against the wall, and then we want your hip bones against the wall. Now your hips are going to be a little space, there's going to be a little space in this lower back, because that's a natural bend, but just a bit higher where your rib cage starts, your lower ribs, is going to be against the wall. So everything from here upwards against the wall. Which means, to do that, you're going to have to use these upper abdominal muscles. You're going to squeeze these upper abdominal muscles back towards the spine. Feel your lower rib cage drop down and in. And then all of a sudden you hold on to your breath. I know that's what a lot of you have just done. Your tongue stuck to the roof of your mouth and you've held on to your breath, but no, we're just holding on to the belly, holding that rib cage in. We can still bring softness through the chest, through the upper ribs. So we've got all these muscles between each rib, so just because these lower muscles are working doesn't mean to say that the ones at the top can't expand and open. Shoulder blades against the wall. So if you're really tight in your hamstrings, you might need to bend your knees slightly just to feel the lower part of the back of the hips against the wall and the rib cage against the wall. You might need to take a little bend in those knees so you can really press against the wall. It's a hard pose, I know. And then as we get more comfortable here, we can start to straighten the legs. Keeping everything against the wall, make sure this rib cage is in. Turn these palms out. Lift them up shoulder height and reach away with those fingers. Shoulder blades are still against the wall. Back of the rib cage is still against the wall. This is actually really hard. Okay, and then those arms come up over the shoulders. So notice when we bring the arms up, sometimes the shoulders want to lift up towards the ears. We don't want this. I'm going to bring those shoulders down away from the ears. So we've got a big gap between the ear and the shoulders. Back of the rib cage against the wall. I know it's coming away. Upper abdominals really super active. Hands reaching up. So if you can get your thumb to touch the wall behind you, see if it'll go there. So you need more flexibility in your shoulders though. If it's causing you any pain or discomfort in your neck or the shoulders, relax the arms a little bit, take them a little bit further forward away from the wall. Okay, so as we practice, as we create more flexibility in the shoulders and more strength, we'll be able to take those thumbs all the way back. Okay, but you might not be there today. If you can, we're still here and we're still breathing. You might bring the hands together to touch. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Jaw is relaxed. Relax your neck, no tension in your neck. Don't hold your breath. And release those hands. Release the arms. I know. How would standing there be so hard? When you use a wall, you really feel, if you're taking your weight forward or if you're dumping into your lower back and really dumping into this lower spine, this lumbar curve. Okay, we're going to stay here. We're going to do our balance, our tree pose. So you're taking all of your weight down into your left leg. And shift onto my left leg, come up onto the right toes. And engage this leg. We want the same action here, pushing down into the floor as if you're trying to push the floor away, drawing those muscles up the thighs, feel the kneecap lift, feel the thighs switch on, muscles in the bum, in the belly, all switched on. Back of the rib cage against the wall, shoulder blades against the wall. Going to lift that foot, turn that out to the side. So your toes right now. You might just open that knee. So you're trying to push the outside of this thigh towards the wall. Okay, it won't get there unless you're really open. Mine is a good few with the wall today, and this is my good side. So your toes might be on the floor, or you might be able to take your foot to the inside of the calf or the ankle, or take it a little bit higher, but please don't press on the knee joint. Or you might be able to take your foot to the top of the thigh. Now, because I've taken my foot up here, I seem to have a bit more rotation in the hip. My thigh is coming towards the wall. So this is where I'm aiming for. I'm aiming to try and get the outside of this thigh against the wall. And these hips want to be level. So just watch, this right hip hasn't lifted all the way up. So it helps when you put your hands on your hips. You can see where they are. So that right hip is going to drop down. Pelvic floor up, belly is in. Back of the rib cage against the wall. Abdominals in. Taking the hands together. And inhale, we lift up. So this is the same arm action as we've just had. Shoulders away from the ears. Hands reaching back towards the wall behind, if they will go. If it's too much on your neck, you're going to keep a little space between the hands. I hope you all stay with me, because the weather is bad today, so the signal is not great. And even if I put my data on where I am, signal keeps dropping out. So I'm just using Wi-Fi. Bring those hands down. Release the foot. Wowza. Release the leg. So you should feel this standing leg. Everybody's saying, Clary's watching. Okay, you should feel action going on in this standing leg. It's been working really hard to keep you supported. So we're going to work the other way. So taking the weight into your right foot, your right leg, pushing the floor away with that right foot. Really feel, so as you push the floor away, this hip drops down. The spine lengthens. Feel the energy coming up. Up onto the left toes and turn that left knee out to the side. Okay, your bum is against the wall. The back of the rib cage is against the wall. So it's not just the shoulder blades, because if it's just the shoulder blades, your rib cage pops out. So pressing the back of the rib cage against the wall, really drawing these upper abdominal muscles. Taking this foot anywhere to the inside of that right leg. I find it harder to balance when my foot is low. So I'm going to take mine up to the top. Make sure these hips are level. And then this thigh, we're trying to get it towards the wall. This is going to be your action to open up this hip. So we've got strength being created in this stand. We've got open of the hip in the left side. We've got the abdominals working, all this core working to keep you supported. Hands together. And we can still breathe. And trust me, you can breathe here. Move across the chest. Fill your chest up with the breath. And then we're going to grow our tree. We lengthen. We reach the top. Shoulders down. Spine is long. Oh, I haven't mentioned the head. The back of your head is also against the wall. Because if your back of your rib cage is against the wall, your shoulder blades are against the wall, your neck runs in line with that. You don't want your neck dropping forward. Your head stands top of your shoulders. Breathing in. Standing leg pushing down into the floor, push the floor away. Opening up that left knee towards, opening the hip. Feel the arms working, the thumbs reaching towards the wall behind you. As your thumbs reach, the rib cage pops away, so squeeze the back of the ribs into the wall. And hands come down. Release the hands, release the leg. Who forgot to breathe? Oh, those legs are strong. Okay, you're going to stay against the wall. So this time taking a wide leg stance. So taking it quite wide. And the back of the heels against the wall, or as close to the wall as you can get them without feeling like you're going to fall on your face. And same action. You want to feel the bum, the back of the hips, the back of the rib cage, the shoulder blades all against the wall. Take these arms up shoulder height, turn the palms forward. Your toes are facing forward, all 10 toes facing forward. That's where the hips are going, toes, knees, all facing forward. Keeping these arms shoulder height. I'm going to knock this picture off in a minute. Inhaling, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, from your waist, you're going to fold to the right. So see, these arms are not bringing one down and one up. Arms stay in perfect line, and your shoulder blades, the back of the rib cage, is just sliding against the wall. We're moving from the waist. The joints in the spine, around the waist, going to hang out here. Back of the head is still against the wall. Your left shoulder blade still against the wall, so don't be tempted to let this left shoulder blade come away. So now you should be really feeling it in your waist. Pelvic floor lifted, belly in, feeling it in the waist. You can still breathe here. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue. Long, smooth breaths in and out through the nose. Next inhale, make sure we're engaged, protect the back, come all the way up. Slide. Slide. Back of the shoulders along the wall. Arms reaching out, so reaching out with those fingertips. Back of the ribs against the wall. I hope you're still with me. I see a lot of people who've dropped out and dropped in again, I think. I think connection's not amazing. Okay. Few breaths and come all the way centre. Release the arms. Oh. Step in if you need to. And step straight back out again, because we're going to stay here with the legs. So that was what I call our traditional Trikonasana, or traditional triangle pose. Now I'm going to do one that most of you will be more familiar with. So your right foot is going to turn out 90 degrees. So your toes are facing the short edge of your mat. Your outside of your foot is as close to the wall as you can take it without feeling like your bum's in the way and you're going to fall on your face. So really close to the wall. Your left toes are going to turn in the same direction. So you're pushing your left heel away and those toes turn in about 45 degrees. Now you will have just found that your left hip bone has moved away from the wall. That is okay, because an anatomical alignment, you want your knee always travels over your toes, and then your hip bone always travels in the same direction. So you want your hip bone, your knee and your toes always to track on the same direction. If our toes and our knee are facing one way and we try and draw this left hip back against the wall, we're going to twist in the knee, and the knee doesn't twist. Okay, so it's okay for that left hip to come away. But back of the rib cage, we still want against the wall. So now you feel this in the waist, because we've just had to take a little twist to square up from the waist up to the shoulders. So your left shoulder blade against the wall, the back of the rib cage, arms come out, and we're going to start to slide this left hip along the wall. So slide this left hip out to the left. Slide, 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 slide. Feeling this little stretch in the inside of the thigh. Okay, we're going to stay here for a moment, just feel that stretch. And then we're going to start to reach for the right. So we start to reach to the right. Back of the rib cage stays against the wall, your shoulder blades stay against the wall, reach, reach, reach as far as you can. And then when you can't reach any further, your right hand comes down and your left arm raises. You've probably moved from the wall, the back of this rib cage. I have the shoulder blade. So I'm going to zip up. So if you're doing a crunchy sit-up, zip up from the belly button to the lower ribs and twist towards the sky. So really pressing the left side of the rib cage to the wall, the left shoulder blade to the wall, and then we might come down a little bit further. So your triangle might be here. This might be as far as you can come without moving from the wall. And it is much better to be up here against the wall than to be down here and lose the wall. Okay, so everything is working here. Got a few breaths. Relax the jaw. Breathe in. Easier said than done, isn't it? Remember to breathe. Push into that foot, come all the way up. And bring those hands down. Turn the feet parallel. Feeling it. Right, so I've been practicing yoga for over 20 years. Every now and again I bring myself against the wall just to check my alignment, because we can all slip into bad habits. We can do what feels good. You know, the effort is to get to the floor when it shouldn't. The effort should be about finding your alignment in the place that you're in. Left foot turns out. Right toes turning in. We've got to do the other side. And it feels different this side. It will. Might not feel better. It will feel different. So make sure those knees are safe. I always give a little bend of the knees just to make sure they're not locked or twisted in any position. This right hip has moved a little bit. It's okay, leave it there. But follow that rib cage, lower ribs around to the back and turn to the wall. Right shoulder blade against the wall, shoulders down, arms up. I'm going to start to slide this right hip to the right. Left hip stays against the wall, back of the rib cage stays against the wall, shoulder blades, both shoulder blades staying against the wall. And then we start to reach through to the left, reach, 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 reach to the left. Then bring that left hand down, and that right arm can go up. Inhale and zip up. Exhale, crunchy sit-up time, draw those ribs in and twist towards the wall. Right rib cage, right shoulder blade. We might be up here, we might come further down. Okay, work within your comfortable limits. If you're not shaking right now, I want to know why. You should feel all these muscles in your legs and your core all working, all active. If the neck doesn't feel good to look up, you look straight ahead, keep the back of the head against the wall. Bend in that left knee, push into the foot, come up to center. Release the hands, release the legs, step them in a moment. Or let's just take a flow just to ease out. Hands together. Inhale, down, out and up. Exhale, bend those knees, float to the floor. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen the spine, shoulders back. Exhale, all the way over. And inhale, all the way up. Press through the legs, pull in the belly, come to the top. Exhale, back, down. Freda's lost. Okay, looks like a lot of you have lost signal and come back in again. Okay, I'm just going to keep going, so hopefully the recording we'll just have a few little jumps so you can catch up later. So, big step out. Right toes, turning to the right, outside edge of that foot really close to the wall. Mine is probably an inch away. Left toes turning in the same direction. So your left heel is probably going to be an inch away as well. So your heel of your right foot tracks all the way to the instep of your left foot. So I've moved my left toes forward, so I'm going to square up those, like straighten up those hips so they're nice and level. Back of the ribs against the wall, shoulder blades down, arms come out. We're going to bend the right knee. Just bend the right knee. I probably haven't far enough actually. Bend in the right knee. Now as you bend, notice this knee wants to move away from the wall. So your effort here is to try and get this thigh against the wall. Same as we were doing in our standing tree pose and our balance pose. This outside of the thigh, outside of the knee, we're trying to press it towards the wall. We're opening up through this hip and we're trying to create a little right angle in this knee. Notice my shoulders are still over my hips. In class, a lot of the time I see when people come into the warrior pose, they start to lunge and reach. This is not that pose. The spine stays in alignment, shoulders stay directly over hips. We're reaching out through those fingers. And if it feels okay, you can take your gaze to the right. So it's not a big turn of the head. My ear isn't against the wall. I'm just turning the eyes and a little turn in the neck. Or if that doesn't feel good, you look straight ahead. Shoulders are away from the ears. Okay, we're going to move from our warrior 2 into our side angle pose, extended side angle. So we're going to start to slide the back of the rib cage, the shoulders against the wall, slide into the right, over that bent knee, the knee stays bent, and then we're going to bring that right elbow down onto the thigh. If your right elbow doesn't reach, just take your hand onto the thigh. Try not to press onto the knee, take it onto the thigh. If your elbow comes down, take your elbow, and then you can use this elbow to open up that leg even more, pressing that thigh towards the wall. Left hand on the hip, just for a moment. Notice what's moved away from the wall here. So if you can get your hand behind your rib cage here, you want to try and squeeze that rib cage, squeeze your hand against the wall, shoulder blade against the wall. And then we're going to lift up and bringing that arm over the head. So we've got this nice line from the outside of your left ankle all the way up that thigh, through the hip, through the waist, through the shoulder. Reach out with those fingertips. At the same time, we're keeping this right thigh open to the wall. Weight is even on both feet, pressing both feet down into the floor. And then we're going to zip up. So this left leg, the inside of your knee, we're going to imagine there's a zip on the inside of the knee and zip up all the way to the inside of the thigh, up into the groin, and really create some stability and strength in that leg. Pelvic floor lifting, belly is in. Inhale, come back to center. Release those arms. Straighten those legs. Turn your toes. Relax. It's a tough one. Lucky for you, your internet keeps going, so you keep losing me, so you might not be practicing this quite as much as you should be. So, watch it on the replay, find some wall space, and really get the feeling of this alignment. This is what this posture should feel like when you haven't got a wall. So if you're finding this much more difficult against the wall than you do when you're practicing without the wall, then you know that you need to work on your alignment and your posture within your postures. And I know what it is, a lot of the time we want to go further, so we sacrifice the alignment to reach the floor or to reach, behind or to reach something else. Please don't sacrifice your alignment. Work with it, stay with it. Only move on when your body's ready to open a bit more. We need to go that way. Left toes out, right toes turning in. Yeah, everything's twisted now to the left. So, from your waist, bring the rib cage, the shoulder blades against the wall. Yeah, take a little move. Get nice and comfortable, if comfortable could be a word that's used right now. Pelvic floor lifting, belly in, back of the rib cage against the wall, shoulder blades against the wall. Arms out, shoulder height. Don't want this. Shoulders down, reach through the fingers. Bend in your left knee. Bend, 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 bend. Now I'm starting to bend and I know that my feet aren't wide enough here because I feel like my knee is going to travel over my toes. You don't want the knee traveling over the toes. I'm just going to take a little wider step. So your bend, yours might be here. Depends on the flexibility of your hips, openness of your hips, and the quads. So I'm going to bend a little bit deeper. So what we want, we're trying to get this right angle in the knee. So notice this knee. Is it rolling in away from the wall? I'm going to try and squeeze it back against the wall. This rib cage, the right, turn it to the wall, right shoulder blade pressing against the wall. Your warrior two. Okay, your chin is level, we're not lifting the head up, so the back of the head is like the lower part of the skull against the wall. So it's the lower half of the skull is against the wall. Okay, and then we're going to start to travel. So we're going to start to slide the shoulders to the left over that thigh. Slide, 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 slide. I just had to move my head a little bit just to, so I don't knock the picture off the wall. Slide, 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 slide. When we can't slide any further, hand can come here, or the elbow. We're not reaching for the floor today because I'm not sure that any of you will be in a position to reach for the floor without losing your alignment. If you are, please do try and get to the floor, but don't lose your alignment. Keep the back of the rib cage, that right shoulder blade against the wall. So that for that we need to zip up the front of the body. This is where I'm lazy. I forget to use my core. So this is what the wall tells me. When I do these postures, freestanding, I often forget to use my belly. I let my rib cage pop out. I dump into the lumbar spine, which is not good. So using the wall reminds me to pull in. Arm comes up, and we travel over, reach out those fingertips. Reach, 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 feel the length from the outside of that right ankle, pressing that right foot into the floor. Lift through the leg, through the hip, through the waist, through the shoulders. Remember that right leg, zip up from the inside of your knee up to your groin, zip it up. This left arm can be pressing that left knee against the wall. Your left shoulder blade is against the wall. Your neck is relaxed and we are breathing. Next inhale, press those feet into the floor, pull in the belly, come all the way up. Turn all 10 toes forward. Step them in. Wow. Gosh, that was hard. We don't need to move around a lot to get a really good workout, to really get these muscles working, to get the blood flowing. Okay, it's amazing how much strength work we can do just by being still. So we're going to take a wide leg forward fold right now. So stepping those feet nice and wide, all 10 toes facing forward. Bend your knees a little bit, push the bum away. I'm just going to turn side on and see. Bend the knees, push the bum away. Halfway down, so you can keep the hands on the thighs here. Neck is long. Imagine you're being drawn forward from the top of your head and someone is drawing your tailbone back behind you. Next exhale, fold all the way forward, bring the hands to the floor. And we can just hang here. So you can take hold of your elbows, relax your head. Forearms might be against the floor, that's absolutely fine. Or you might be a little bit higher. But please, if you start to round in your back, so if I straighten my legs and come up, this happens. Bend the knees, lift the bum. And you might want to swing from side to side. Have a little swing. Wow. And then take the hands to the floor. Come up halfway. Hands to the hips or the tops of the thighs. Pull up the belly all the way up. Step those feet together. Okay, let's come down onto the floor. So you can do a nice big swallow dive. Inhale, out and up. Exhaling to the floor. Halfway up. All the way over. Bending your knees. Taking them down to the floor. Sit back on the heels. I think I'm a bit closer to you today because I've doubled up in mats. If this isn't good for you to sit back on your heels like this, if you're feeling it in your knees, if you're feeling pain in your knees, please just come down onto your bum. We're all going to be coming there now anyway. Just taking a moment. Just let everything settle down a little bit. Get control of your breath. can't believe this rain. What is going on with our weather? Okay. Dion, stop moaning. Think positive, happy thoughts. Positive, happy thoughts. Okay, legs are out in front. I'm sat on the front of the sit bones. Okay, remember, if you're tight in the hamstrings, if you're tight in the lower back, you're going to be tucked under. It's going to feel like this. This is not what we want. So, you can get yourself a rolled up mat, a rolled up blanket, a block, a cushion, anything to lift your hips a little bit higher. That's going to help. So I actually perch right on the edge. So you feel like your pelvis is being tilted forward. So you feel like you're already coming forward a little bit. Toes are flexed, so your toes are coming towards your shins, but keep your backs of your heels on the floor. Hands down next to the hips, lengthen up through the spine, pelvic floor lifting, belly is in. So your legs are active, feet are flexed, feel the thighs draw up. So again, imagine you're zipping up inner thighs, drawing those kneecaps up the legs, pelvic floor lifting, belly is active, lower ribs drawing down, spine is long. Again, if we were doing this against the wall, we'd have back of the hips and the back of the rib cage against the wall. Back of the waist will stay free from the wall to allow for the lumbar curve. From here, we're going to start to fold forward. So we're folding from the hip crease. So the spine stays long. So you're not folding from your waist. This doesn't happen. We don't want this to happen. We're folding from the hip crease. So your belly is drawing in, but we're going to start to bring the upper body towards the thighs. So when you draw in the front of your body, when you're drawing your abdominals, your back muscles are allowed to lengthen. Shoulder blades are down, so don't lose your neck, don't start to hunch up, keep those shoulders down, keep the belly in, keep the pelvic floor lifted, neck is long. We might be here, might be where you're going to stay today. You might already feel this big stretch in the hamstrings, stretch in the back. Or you might feel a little bit more open, you might be able to come a little bit further. My hamstrings are super tight today, I'm really feeling this from the calves all the way up. So the toes are flexed. Remember, toes flexed, that's going to stretch out the calves. Belly is in. Don't lose your belly button into your waist. Shoulders are back and down. Turn your now forward fold in this kind of action was always the struggle for me. I'm not a natural forward folder. I back bend and stuff. This, just being here, is really it's challenging to keep this posture because I want to collapse in, I want to do this. So I'm reaching forward. Think nipples to knees. Nipples to knees, nose to toes. Gaze is forward. Please don't look down at your thighs or your knees. You'll start to round in your back. And pull up the belly. Going to bring the hands into the shoulders, so you're forward or back, depends on what's good for you. So they're a few inches behind the hips, that's shoulder width apart. I'm going to place the feet on the floor, knees. We're just going to do the counter pose for that forward fold. So we're going to push down into the feet, into the fingertips, use your fingertips, and lift your bum off the floor. Push your knees forward, lift your thighs to the sky, lift your hip bones, your belly, your ribs, your chest. It's a big stretch for the front of the body. You'll feel this in the top of the arms, opening up through the chest, flexibility in the shoulders, strength in the legs. Use your legs, push down into your feet, thighs are active. You can let your head come back if it feels okay on your neck. I don't like that feeling. I keep my chin tucked in and I look forward. Try and keep a more neutral neck. And all the way down, bum to the floor. Come down onto the back. Hug those knees in. have a rock side to side. Make it a good rock. Don't just do a little, even not even get the hips off the floor. Really rock, hip to hip. Just watch that you don't crack your elbow on the floor, because that's very unpleasant. I know, because I've done it before. Especially here, we've got hard tiles we work on. Okay, and then just take those feet down to the floor. We don't really need to do much of a twist, because if you've been doing your standing practice properly, you will have really felt this twist in the waist as we've tried to take the shoulders back against the wall. So we're just going to let the knees just sway left and right. Just releasing any tension that we've still got hold of there. And then come in for your Shavasana. Remembering that your Shavasana practice is really important. I don't stay here with you in Shavasana because nobody wants to see me just lying here on the floor. But please do take a few moments just to let your whole body relax. So if it feels comfortable for your back, legs can come out straight. If it doesn't feel comfortable on your back, bend the knees, feet go wide, let the knees drop in towards each other. Backs of the hands turn onto the floor, palms up. This is going to roll your shoulders back and just create more space across your chest. Make the breath a little bit easier. We let the eyes close and just take the few breaths right there. I thank you all so much for joining me this morning. If you've not done practice against the wall before, please let me know how you got on. Maybe you need to watch it on the replay and find a wall space and really work on that, because it makes a huge difference to how your alignment feels and really gets you used to how that posture should feel away from the wall. So, 3 gratitudes to yourself, to your yoga practice, and to someone or something in your life that's made you smile this week. I'm hoping you've got a huge list of gratitudes by now. We are on day 25 of yoga, so you should have at least 25 gratitudes, at least. Stay happy, stay healthy until tomorrow. Namaste.